this organization. Do you know what it's called?
Its name is SPECTRE.
Ooh, one of the most anticipated movies of the year is the newest installment of the James Bond series, Spectre. And while James Bond is famous for his martinis, sharp-eyed film fans know liquor appears many times in the films. In the case of famed champagne house Bollinger, the champagne has a history with Bond films going back to 1973's Live and Let Die. Here with a look at how spirits end up in films is Bollinger CEO Jerome Philipon. Jerome, welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
We have a graphic showing all the James Bond films where Bollinger appears, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of them. Tell us how this partnership came about.
It actually started because Ian Fleming wrote the James Bond novels, actually wrote about James Bond drinking Bollinger. That was back in 1956. So it was a very natural move for us to be associated with the films.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so now it continues on sort of a gentleman's agreement?
Yeah, what happened is, so we were in the novel. As you mentioned, James Bond drinks a lot of beverages.
Yes.
And a couple of brands of champagne initially. But what happened is in 1978, Cubby Broccoli, the producer of James Bond, came to Champagne, met the president of Bollinger at that time, Christian Bizot, and he was really looking to have Bollinger because Bollinger is perceived in the world of champagne as a very British champagne, very, elegant, matching quite well the values of James Bond. So he asked us in 1978 whether we would be ready for Bollinger to be the exclusive champagne of James Bond, and that's what happened.
And you said, great, sure, no problem.
Yeah, but, what's really interesting, if you look at our records, our archives, which are not so long, it's 40 years ago. At that time, the concept of product placement didn't exist. So we actually hesitated because Bollinger is a house, very traditional, led, it belongs to a family, traditional values, Catholic.
Not sure they wanted the publicity.
Not sure to be too much, the womanizer, all the gadgets, all of that. But finally they agreed, and in fact it has become really a very deep and strong partnership between the two families.
Well, I'm so glad that they agreed. So tell me, how did you pick the current vintage that appears in Spectre?
Yeah, as you will see, there are on 3 occasions Bollinger in Spectre, which is we are very grateful for and we are very glad. And what happened is what we decided to present is Bollinger RD, which is one of the very premium cuvées of Bollinger, and the 2002 vintage, which is really an outstanding vintage from the 2000, because usually, James Bond drinks only the best.
Right.
That's what we have in the film.
And you so kindly brought it with you. Oh, my goodness.
We need to
only
taste
the
it.
best. Yeah, that's
lunch
right.
break. What is a lunch break without a glass of fantastic champagne,
I'm so glad
isn't
you
it?
have a Frenchman on set. You understand. So
Yeah.
tell us, did you go to the set of Spectre? Did you see whether the actors actually drank the champagne?
Yes, he does. No, but the good thing about Daniel Craig, who is the current actor of James Bond, is that he's personally, and that's really nice for us. He drinks champagne and he drinks Bollinger on his own, So that's over time we have developed also a relationship with Daniel Craig, and he's himself a big fan.
So hopefully he did the Bollinger takes just once or twice, so he didn't have to drink too much champagne.
Not too much. He probably drinks less during the shooting than what appears.
So how many bottles did you have to ship to set? How did that work? Were they empty bottles? How did they design it?
Yeah, we don't have to supply too many bottles.
Yeah.
We supply what we call dummy bottles, which are empty bottles for the set, but also, of course, for consumption, because, as I said, there are 3 times there is Bollinger appearing on set. So it's not always consumed, but the bottle of champagne is visible.
Yes, and I think I've heard Daniel Craig is a method actor, which means he must actually consume the...
Yeah.
Well, let's give it a try.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's take a taste. Delicious. I can see why James...
It makes a better lunch break, isn't it?
It certainly does. And tell us about this edition that you brought with you, that special edition.
So what we have actually here, we have this RD 2002, which is, in the film. But what we decided to do, and very much in close relationship with the Broccoli family, the owner of James Bond, is we have done 2 limited editions on the occasion of the release of Spectre. One of them, which we're very proud of, is this gift box, which is now available from this week in New York and in the rest of the US. It's a gift box which contains a bottle of Bollinger 007, and it's a vintage 2009.
So it's a
very good vintage. So it's a different vintage.
Yeah.
This one is slightly older.
Okay.
This one is very mature. It's like Daniel Craig as James Bond today. You know,
Yes.
it's a full James Bond. It's a full Bollinger.
Yes.
This one is slightly, you know, it's good. It's good for action.
Fantastic.
And then also what we have, I would say, is a more premium initiative, actually very premium, because that would retail on almost $10,000 US. It's a very exceptional masterpiece. It's made of crystal. It's a 2 sets crystal piece.
Gorgeous.
Made by Saint Louis. The Cristallerie Saint Louis, a subsidiary of the Hermes Group. It's mouth-blown. Only 300 pieces have been made for the whole world.
Beautiful.
And what is inside is, again, a bottle of Bollinger Hardy, which is also drunk again by James Bond, and an older vintage, 1988. And it is a Magnum.
Even older than what we're drinking.
Older than what we're drinking.
Fantastic. Look at that. Wow. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a delightful lunch break. You can come back anytime with the champagne.
My great pleasure.
Thank you
for
so
inviting me.
much.
Thank you.